What's going on, guys? Multikills HD here, as most of you guys probably already know. So today I'm going to be doing a dual commentary with Malachi Plays. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? My name, of course, is Malachi Plays. You guys might not know me. I'm kind of a small YouTuber right now. I have around 300 subscribers, 312 to be exact. Been doing YouTube for about 10 months here, and what I do on my channel is kind of GTA 5, Battlefield 4, and soon to be COD Ghosts, and Madden 25.
Alright, so on that note, let's go ahead and move on to this commentary. And today I have Malachi on here because I wanted to talk about something that's just right around the corner if you think about it. Call of Duty Ghost isn't very far away at all. I know Xbox has just recently started advertising it on the dashboard, saying it's right around the corner pretty much. So I think it's a
Yeah.
good time to actually start talking about what we actually expect about the game. Server-wise, on launch, I know Rockstar is getting a ton of hate right now over the server controversy. If you guys are not familiar, Rockstar released the game online 2 weeks after the game, so everybody was on the servers, all at the same time because they were done with single player. And it led to servers being down for 3 to 4 to 5 days for people. And eventually Rockstar ended up apologizing and giving everybody 500,000 online dollars, but it leads to the controversy. Is it going to happen again for Call of Duty Ghost with the amount of people that are going to be on it this year? So I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it actually is going to work, but with the new dedicated servers and the rent servers that you can actually have on Call of Duty Ghost, it's kind of making me think a little bit second hand again. I mean, dedicated servers are different and Call of Duty has never used them. So I'm not really sure how that's exactly going to work. What do you think on this, Malachi?
I would personally say I agree to disagree. I think that dedicated servers is going to be the best thing for Call of Duty. It's something that I've been really looking for ever since Modern Warfare 2, really. I think one thing that really what they need to do is just keep this in and keep it up, keep. I mean, they can't have a launch like Rockstar did, for example. They can't have that. They're gonna lose fans within days. I mean, there's people, threatening to break their disc, put in a blender, those type of things with GTA 5. So they really have to kind of have dedicated servers, and not only that, have balancing, because gun balancing has been kind of an issue in past Call of Duties as well. And I think if we look at other games like Battlefield 3, for example, on dedicated servers, it's worked out really well. So I think it will work out, but they're going to have enough server power. But I'm really not sure if they've shown me enough personally, if I'm going to be getting the game, because there hasn't been that many trailers or any gameplay to really wow me so far this year.
I think that's kind of what I've been on along those lines. What I've seen so far from Only Use Me Blades footage, it almost seems too easy to knife. And I know that it was the first day of the game that he was playing it, and before everybody else is able to, and he had a special chance to play the game. And just from what I seen, and he was playing against reporters, and it wasn't just Call of Duty All-Star players or MLG players, and to have Only Use Me Blade at the top of his scoreboard just running around knifing, that kind of has me worried. Modern Warfare 2 is one of the games that is considered one of the best Call of Duties in the world. I mean, it's right up there with Modern Warfare, the original one, Call of Duty 4. And to have that Modern Warfare 2 ruined by just new tubes alone, and commando lunges, those were another big thing in the commando care package glitch back then.
Yeah,
So
that was big.
I'm almost worried. I think it's going to be another Modern Warfare 2 commando lunge episode, I guess you would say. I think other than that, the gun skill looks a lot better. I am really happy that they fixed the snipers finally. There's been way too many over the last couple of years where I'm playing in the middle of a search game and some dude jumps out of a window, does a 720, and no scopes me through 3 buildings and ends up killing me for the final kill. I just don't find that entertaining. I don't think it involves skill at all when you can just spin around, no scope, and hit somebody through 3 buildings. You don't even know where they're at half the time, so I'm kind of glad that they fixed trick shotting and just sniping feeds in general, because now you cannot spawn trap with a sniper without, scoping in the entire time to see where they're at. So they kind of fix that a little bit if you think about it, but we'll see once the game comes out, because I know that a lot of changes have happened since the last time I've seen the gameplay.
Also, another thing that I wanted to add is that I don't know about you, but I've been a big, huge fan of Infinity Ward games over Treyarch games. The only Treyarch game I've really enjoyed was Call of Duty World at War. And I think the reason why Call of Duty World at War was so good was mainly because of zombies. They introduced something new, and I think that's what COD Ghost really has to do, is introduce a new game type that everybody's going to play. They tried something with Chaos Mode, I think it was called, in Modern Warfare 3, but it didn't wow me like zombies did. So I wonder what COD Ghost is gonna do to really get me to join this game.
Right. And, I mean, if we look back on it, Call of Duty 4, hands down, had the best gun balance, in my personal opinion. There was a couple things that were a little bit overpowered. The M16 might be considered that, and the R8, R8 700, 800 sniper rifle. That was a little bit controversial, and that's understanding. But we move on to Modern Warfare 2, the commando lunges and the noob tubes. A little bit unbalanced, but the game ran insanely smooth. We go to another Infinity Ward game, Modern Warfare 3. The servers started having hit and miss. You had one good game, one bad game with the host, and when you have host on Infinity Ward's games, one thing that you can notice, this is previous before dedicated servers, you knew when you were host, and the reason that you knew is because you would one-shot every single person with a Type 95, for example. It would be one shot every single time, and your hits would be right on every single time. So, with dedicated servers, it brings up the point, with everybody having the same advantage, is it really going to decide if the good players are really going to stand out every single game? Or maybe the people that, might not have as much or enough gun skill, will they be able to keep up with the people that are pros? I mean, one of the biggest disadvantages, I'm going to go ahead and use this as an example, Battlefield. Now, you may say, why Battlefield? Battlefield 3, if you get on that game and you've never played it before, you're about to get stomped and stomped and stomped the entire game, and there's no chance of you winning at all. The people that are on Battlefield are veterans. These guys have been playing Battlefield 3. Like, if you would hop on today, right before Battlefield 4 comes out in a week or so, if you would hop on today, the people that you would see in the game are people that have been playing that most likely since the launch of Battlefield 3. So these people are extremely skilled. You have no chance of winning that game at all. So it almost brings up the point, do you think Call of Duty Ghost is going to be the same concept? Do you think the people that have been playing Call of Duty for years are going to have that extreme advantage over people that don't? Or is the connection going to be fixing that because everybody has an even playing field at that point?
Yeah, with the even, I think that's a great idea or a great point is dedicated servers is probably going to be the best thing. And I see what you mean on Battlefield. It is true. There are a lot of veterans on that game. You see people 100 ranks, they're the top of the game. And I feel like maybe there's actually going to be a skill level. Because, to be honest, on Black Ops 2, you can go into a game and it's really easy if you have a good connection. And it's really not tough, When you go into Call of Duty Black Ops 2, for example, you can go into a game and you're going to face people that aren't the greatest, that are like 0.0 KDs, and then you're going to have occasional games where you're at 3.0 KDs. So I think it's also, they need to include the balancing of KDs. I remember that they introduced that in this Call of Duty, but it never really happened.
Right, and I think one of the problems with the last Call of Duty Black Ops 2, was the skill-based matchmaking doesn't really work in a sense. And the reason why is we saw the people reverse boosting. And reverse boosting showed that every single person that was extremely good, 7-8 KDs on YouTube, going for 100 plus gameplays, could have an advantage by dying purposely over and over and over again, and they would get paired up with somebody that just plugged in their controller, just put their game in the disk drive for the first time on Black Ops 2, and were getting demolished. So hopefully they can find something to fix that. I do agree that it should be more skilled based. It's definitely more of a challenge on Black Ops 2 to play against, good people every single time and not having the occasional 30 games in a row where you get people that are just starting to play. I definitely think it's a more of even playing field when you're playing against people that had the same stats as you, for example.
And I think it's also maybe with dedicated servers, being added to the game, I think it's going to better help them to check connections as well. Because I feel like in this game, sometimes you would be paired with somebody in your state, or other times you would be paired with people in the United Kingdom,
Right.
Canada, and that's another problem is when I would play with a friend, for example, and I have a friend in the UK, I can't play with him because he's getting like a 2 bar and I'm getting like a 4 bar, or it's the opposite reverse. I'm getting a 2 bar, he's getting a 4 bar. And that's another thing that I think maybe dedicated servers can do, but who knows if they can really do it. This is their first time ever introducing something like this, and I know a lot of companies that have, introduced something like this and haven't been so well. And I feel like maybe if it really does work, will there possibly be LAN events? Will those go out of business? And I'm not saying like MLG will stop, you know, going to events to like Columbus and those type of things. But I'm saying, will there be more tournaments now that are more dedicated server based? Where you don't have to fly out to MLG or whatnot.
Right. And on that note, he was talking about the tournaments. I want to bring up something that has been a little bit controversial in the last competitive scene over the last couple weeks or so, with the announcement of Call of Duty Ghost being a couple days after the release at MLG Columbus. So here's the thing: the game's going to be out for just under a week or just over a week. I can't remember which it is, but then they're going to be competing on the line for $50,000 on the game with their teams, and nobody's going to be ready for this. It's going to be whoever is the best at pub stomping, for example, is most likely going to win this. So I want to know, what is your opinion? Do you think it's a good idea to have this tournament right after, or do you think they should maybe push it back a little bit and wait until maybe 2-3 weeks after the game comes out so people have time to get used to it?
I would say that I would say, yeah, push it back a little bit. Not only that, there is competitive players that have kind of like little deals that they can get the game early, a week early. So someone might have an advantage like that. So they have 2 weeks and you have 1 week. I would say that pushing it back further would be better. I think it's cool maybe if they did that, but not for such a big price. Like $50,000 is quite a bit of money,
Right.
and I think once they split it across four, and for a tournament, that's only a week out. It's just a little bit unfair. I mean, there's going to be competitive players that are kind of smaller teams. I'm going to use one team, OG Giants or something like that, the Giants team. They are a smaller team who says that they have contacts that can get the game early, and then there's other people, maybe like Optic or Team Caliber, that can get the game 1 to 2 weeks early just by contacts of being a big YouTuber. So I think that there will be a little bit unbalancing of kind of like I guess I want to say skill level.
Right. And I think one of the points that you just pointed out that was really good was you have 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's enough time to test everything. And I mean, with so much customization being on Call of Duty Ghost, I think it's like 700,000 different ways you can have your classes, and there's like 70 different things that you can choose. I don't see everybody testing out and figuring out the best class within a week. I think once the MLG event's over with, I think we're going to have a good knowledge of at least 10 to 15 good classes, but necessarily I don't think it's going to be good to see competitive play without knowing what the guns do, what the setups do, or, just the good loadouts for people to use in general.
Also, every now and then, I wouldn't mind seeing at tournaments kind of like banning weapons. Because if you look at MLG tournaments of Black
Right.
Ops 2, most of the guns are Type 25s. I'm unsure of the other guns, but there's so many same guns, and it's like they should try something different. As much as it might sound weird, have a tournament every now and then that uses some gun that isn't used. Like I want to say that Type 25, for example, when you're in a game, I have this happen a lot to me, is the Type 25 is a great gun when you're on a good connection. So let's say, for example, I got a 3 bar, someone's got the 4 bar, and I put in about 2 to 3 bursts. And usually it takes 1 to 2 bursts to get somebody, and it's really annoying to go into a video game, or any game for that matter, and put in 1 burst into somebody, or 2 bursts, they're not dead, but they put in one and you're gone. Like you're already done for. And I feel like that's another thing is gun balancing, dedicated servers. They really have to get this right, Call of Duty Ghosts, or they're really going to fail. in my opinion, they've lost a lot of their fan base over Black Ops 2. There has been a lot of things that they have screwed up on with connection and all these things that they said they were going to fix. They really haven't. I mean, as much as a lot of people hate Robert Bowling on the Infinity Ward side, he did try his best to try and incorporate things, but he's just kind of, a spokesperson that has to listen to what his company told him.
Right, and one of the things that, before we finish this commentary, guys, I want to point out the amount of players that have been playing Black Ops 2 compared to Modern Warfare 3 this time of year last year. Now, Modern Warfare 3 going into Black Ops 2 had about 200 to 300,000 people online about 95% of the time. You would go on there at midnight, there'd be the same range of players. You'd go on there 2 a.m., 3, 4, 5 a.m., same players, and then at peak times it would be a little higher. Currently on Black Ops 2, there is never 100,000 people in the game. Never 100,000 people, including zombies and multiplayer combined. Now, I know why this is, and there's because there's so many great games coming out right now, and I think a lot of people have just gotten bored of Black Ops 2, but hopefully, one of the things I hope with Ghost is that life expectancy of the game isn't 2 to 3 months. I know that happened last year to a lot of the people that were playing a lot, and I really hope the game is at least 5 to 6 months like Modern Warfare 2 was. Anyways, I think, is there any more points you want to point out, Malachi?
I'd like to point out one more thing. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 became stale way too quickly.
Right.
And that's something that really Ghost has got to do. They've got to make something, I think maybe adding something like a new weekly thing like they did in Modern Warfare 3, I believe it was, that care package game.
Yeah.
And they added something new. Maybe that could be a game changer into getting these guys to play longer. Maybe adding vehicles. I mean, let's look at GTA 5. That's a big title that has come out. And I agree with you. There's a bunch of big titles that have really grown them away from it. But the reason why is because the game is no longer fun. I mean, look at Optic. They've changed from COD to really Minecraft and GTA 5.
Yeah. So, guys, this video is wrapping up. Make sure to go check out Malachi Plays. His channel is great. He's a small commentator, like I said. Let's help him out and go over his channel and subscribe and checking out his content. I'm sure you guys are going to be interested in this channel, especially with this dual commentary. It gives you a little sense of his channel. Anyways, guys, my name, of course, is MultiKillsHD, and I'm out. Peace.